Hi there, my name is Diego Borgsdorf Fuenzalida, and I am a fiber artist working across weaving, basketry, salt sculpture, as well as photography and installation. And I am based in Washington, D.C. I'm a Chilean-American born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I graduated from Pitzer College with training in anthropology, as well as ceramic sculpture and fiber arts. In general, my practice is about the memories of post-dictatorship violence in Chile and in the broader Pacific world. And so it's an area and a part of the world that uses a lot of materials like these, like wool, embroidery, cotton, weaving, these very sort of traditional looking tapestries. But it's also a landscape that is coded in memory. And so, you know, in addition to being adjacent to the Pacific Ocean, we're seeing the afterlives of violence from the 70s through the 90s continually repeat themselves and manifest in different ways. And we're also living in a field of rubble. So the rubble of things like, for example, my grandparents' house that was left abandoned in the 70s when my grandparents fled to the United States during the rise of political violence. So as an artist, I'm interested in seeing how materials can index this quality of being left behind or this quality of being an artifact of something. And so with salt, my process is really intensive in terms of time, and it's also dependent on a ton of natural factors. So if I'm working with textiles and salt crystals, that requires me to leave them outside to evaporate, mix a salt solution together, and then ultimately leave it up to things like heat and light conditions to see how the salt will affect these tapestries. And so in that sense, the finished tapestry is an artifact. It's showing what that process of being left outside, of being evaporated, looks like. And so for me, salt crystallization is a way that I as an artist can sort of interfere with these different cycles of what it means for something to be rubble, what it means for something to have once been used, and to have these sort of qualities or ghost-like natures to them. In particular with this piece, it's an abstraction of satellite imagery of a memory site in Chile called the Rocas de Santo Domingo, which is in the Valparaíso region. And here in a few beachside cabins, leftist activists were imprisoned and tortured as a result of their activism during the onset of the military dictatorship of Augusto Pinochet. And so the first step of this was doing a bunch of site-specific research of this site, creating a weaving cartoon of what the space looked like, and then from there using salt as a collaborator to help build some of that imagery and oceanic feeling into the piece. The other piece that I have in the show is one of my earliest experimentations with salt and textile, and it shows ocean imagery using salt, so a few different salt solutions on a wool and cotton tapestry. Overall, I've been able not only to help produce these two pieces, but also curate the artist list and help Ari curate this show. And one of my main goals was to understand how textiles are constantly around us. We're wearing them, they're in our houses, we're living amongst them, and they're often the surfaces where different dusts or different accumulations lay out, surface, and build up over time. Salt being, of course, a particularly important surfacing or crystallization for me. And so in that sense, I'm really interested in how textiles can be a form of a vertical archive by the way that they capture these different surfacings on them. And so the goal for our show, Soft Archives, is to really understand textiles as the basis of history and to understand how textiles are composing the different kinds of emotional, affective, and historical textures that define our experience. In the future, I am currently a Bressler artist in residence at VisArts Center up in Rockville, Maryland, just outside of DC. And as a Bressler resident, I'll be producing a solo exhibition in 2026. And in that exhibition, I am doing a ton of more site-specific research about the Rocas de Santo Domingo. So in early 2026, I'll have a solo exhibition showing a lot more of satellite imagery that I've researched, as well as site-specific field archaeology notes that I've gotten my hands on, and then recreations of the site using basketry, weaving, and of course, salt sculpture. So that's on the docket for me, as well as a super exciting project in Baltimore in late 2025, which I can't share too much about yet, but expect all things natural dye, basketry, and weaving to come.